This episode is brought to you by our friends at Brookes Blooms, your all-in-one landscaping solution.
Brookes Blooms' three-step landscaping experience offers a seamless journey from design to construction and ongoing care, ensuring your outdoor space thrives year-round.
Visit brooksblooms.com today to embark on your landscaping journey, where every step is a step towards a vibrant and beautiful outdoor entertaining space. G'day everyone, back for another episode of the Ads and Dunks podcast. As always, brought to you by the Oz American Aces and our wonderful sponsor, Brookes Blooms, which Josh is wearing the hat this week, which is great to see. I obviously don't suit hats, but my name's Adam, of course, and with me, as always, my best mate, Joshy. How you going, mate?
I'm good, thanks, mate. It's been a tough week for both of us, but as you mentioned, yes, I am back in the hat because I reckon last time it brought me good luck. So hopefully this week it brings us some luck and we can get a couple wins on the board.
Yeah, you are right, mate. We need a bit of luck, the both of us. Last year, the little hoodoo or voodoo, whatever you call it, we had where we're winning each week, losing every week. Now it's just freaking the opposite. So we need a bit of luck going our way. So as you're right, mate, hopefully you knock on that hat, touch wood everywhere, wherever it may be. Hopefully we can get on the winners list this week. And we essentially play at the same time too. So it'd be nice to hopefully come away with 2 wins. But other than that, mate, how was your week? Let's not even talk about footy for the first 10 or 20 minutes and just worry about other stuff.
It's hard because footy takes up so much of your life, mate. It's like, you know, you get back and all you're thinking about is footy. So the next couple of days are like you just think about footy and you're trying to do things that, you know, make you happy and make you smile because, I mean, I said not going to talk about footy, but you'd be lying to say that you're not really disappointed, both of us really at the moment. So just trying to find the fun things in life, mate. I'm lucky I've got to, you know, come home to Tipper and the dogs, which is great. And obviously got the little puppy in Herbie. So he keeps us really busy. He's got no idea what's going on, no idea about emotion or whatever I'm feeling. So it's nice to be able to come home to him. And but no, the rest of the week was relatively all right. Went and watched the boys play in the VFL on Saturday on the Gold Coast, which was a bit of an uplift because they had a really good win. So that was cool. And watched the girls on Sunday. Actually, I got a funny story for you. I was just sitting there because I got there like right on time. So I walked in, sat in my seat quickly, and then the game started. All of a sudden, I feel like this like tap on the back. And I'm like, oh, yeah, turn around. Before I turned around, there was this little face right here. It was Georgie.
What'd she say anything to you?
Oh, she's like, hi, Joshy.
Who was holding her? Cena?
Cena, yeah. So she was sitting there. It was, mate, if anything was going to put a smile on my face, that put a smile on my face because she's very cute, your little girl. But, yeah, that was a interesting week, bit different, a few things going on. But, yeah, look forward to this week and what it brings. But what about yourself? Talk to us about your Perth trip and outside of footy. How was it?
Yeah, and I'll reiterate everything you say. It's hard to not let the results of the weekend dictate your moods. So I was kind of the same, trying to find things that I could enjoy outside of footy. I spent most of the last few days travelling, so it's always nice to get over to Perth. I think one thing I enjoy about going over to Perth, other than when I was playing with you, we got to see your family over there, which is great. But there's always a lot of great supporters of our podcast over there, and on the captain's run on the Friday, we played on the Saturday. I was able to run into quite a few fans of the potty and did a lot of photos with the A celebration, which was great. Obviously, our number one supporter, Carla, who we sent, I think, that T-shirt and maybe a hat to a couple of weeks ago. She was there. She was there for your training session and my training session, and she's always supported us from day dot. So was able to get around her. I promised, I've got a photo here of the kid's name. I promised that I'd give him a shout out on the potty. I wrote his name on my hand actually when we were doing the signing session. Corey. His name is Corey. So little Corey over in WA. I know he came after school, I believe. He wanted me to give him a shout out on the potty. So giving you a shout out, mate. Thanks for coming out and watching us and supporting our podcast. But yeah, mate, other than the result, I haven't really been doing much, mate. Just traveling, as I said, come back here, spend time with the dogs. Nothing really. I, just trying to just trying to look at the positives from a game that was obviously challenging for us. But other than that, mate, I don't get to come home to Georgie and Kimmy yet. So I watch them play and I hear how they're going. And it actually wasn't a good weekend all round because the Firebirds didn't win either. And for those who watched the Firebirds play, they should have won. And full credit to the Swifts who ended up beating them. But it was not a winning weekend in the households for us.
No, it wasn't. And I was at that game and I just thought, they're up by 8, 3/4 time. I'm like, geez, yes, we're going to have some, positive vibes around the house this week. And sure enough, extra time and they got rolled. So, yeah, it was a disappointing one, mate. Disappointing. But, hey, it's another day and we've got to keep smiling because that's the main thing. One thing I do want to mention first, though, before we move on from that kind of conversation is, do you think fans out there, and I've seen a few comments on our stuff and just random stuff, do you think people out there expect us to be happy or sad post a loss? Because I get this feeling that some of them are like, you can't live, you can't be smiling, you can't do anything. Like, yeah. What do you think?
I know where you're going down. Yeah, I think AFL players are put on this pedestal where the be-all and end-all, their perception for the players is the be-all and end-all for them is footy and the result on the weekend. And if we're not winning, then we shouldn't be happy. We don't deserve to be happy. And if we are winning, we deserve to be on top of the world. And no matter how you're playing, doesn't matter as long as you're winning, which in reality isn't the case. Should be the polar opposite. I mean, we do this for a living, obviously and clearly, but we do it because we love it and we enjoy it. And the fact that we started playing at such a young level, most AFL players, you did it for the love and the enjoyment you got out of the game. So when you get drafted and you're in the spotlight left, right and centre, the ones that can find the balance between, going out and playing on the weekend and the ones that can switch off and let go and not let the results dictate them are the ones that probably enjoy it the most and end up having the longest careers. So I guess to answer your question, I think the general public understand that it is just a game, but I think there are a lot of people out there, and especially a lot of commentators and a lot of ex-players who commentate like to, look at the negatives a lot and, judge players if they're happy on the ground, if they're smiling and, shaking hands with the opposition with a smile on their face. I feel like a lot of players are harshly judged by. So to answer your question, I feel like the expectation is you're meant to be miserable if you don't win, but that's not the reality for a lot of us. We're happy and we're lucky in what we do. And the ones that can balance it are the ones that are the most happiest. What do you think?
Completely agree with what you said, but I just feel like a lot of people don't. Yeah, they expect you to be sad, which we are. We're very disappointed post a loss. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's about you can't have that consume your whole life. Like we just talked about, our next few days after a loss was pretty shit, but. The quicker you can turn that around, the quicker you can start thinking about, righto, what are the positives? What are the things we can work on? And then you set up your week from there. But if you keep dwelling on those little things, it's just going to keep doing your head in. So I just can't stand when people, when they say like, oh, you can't be like, there was a comment and it was on my Instagram. It was like someone wrote on our podcasting that we posted, that Tommy posted the other day. It was like, oh, the Lions should focus on winning rather than doing a podcast. And I'm like, mate, this kind of podcast is like, this is what we wanted to do from the start, to show people that even when you're down in the dumps and you're flat and you're not winning, we're still going to rock up. We're still going to show who we are. This is exactly what we're doing. So if people want that insight, well, don't throw us under the bus. Like, get around it. It just shits me, that kind of stuff.
No, I love it. You're showing a bit of passion, which I love, because I agree. I definitely agree. And I think there is a perception that, not even just talking about us two, but there is a perception that if you're not winning and you're happy, then they don't care, or, they're not caring and whatnot. But I look at, if a prime example is like, I look at, I don't go out of my way and seek out AFL teams' social pages, but I come across some and I see North Melbourne's, and it's great. I mean, they haven't won a game, but they post their training. They post, obviously, their players are happy at training. Like, is the perception of, because they're not winning, is perception that they can't be happy at training, they can't, be up and about and come in and celebrate each other and be around each other? Because at the end of the day, we're so very lucky in doing what we're doing. And No player goes out there at all, goes out there and deliberately tries to lose. There's not one player that does that. Everyone's competitive. I mean, we're all wanting to win. We're all working our asses off. Unfortunately, some teams are just better than other teams. Obviously, some are in winning situations, some aren't. So using North Melbourne as is a prime example that the fact that they haven't won a game yet, but you still see socials of their players throughout the week happy and training and training their ass off and pumped that they're around each other. I mean, it shouldn't be any different whether you're winning or losing. So it is a good point because the perception on the players, I think, is that they need to be miserable if they're not winning.
Anyway, it was just a little one that I wanted to talk to you about because I saw it pop up and I was like, oh, well, I'll have a chat about it. So it's all good.
It's good, mate. It is good. I mean, it's hard here in Melbourne. I mean, you understand in Melbourne when you're not going well, it's all over the news and all over the socials and whatnot. So being in Brisbane, it's no doubt you definitely would be feeling it's a breath of fresh air, not probably having the media attention as you would here in Melbourne. But footy's not our life, mate. We obviously enjoy doing other things and whatnot. We may as well touch on our games. And then we can look at the other games from the weekend and just get over, our results. We'll start with your game because your game was on the Thursday. Yeah, Anzac Day, which would have been a special game for you, obviously, because you got to play on Anzac Day. I touched on that last week in the potty. Yeah, talk us through the game. Obviously, it didn't go your way after half time, clearly, and ultimately Giants were too strong.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was one of the more disappointing nights, I reckon. I've walked off the field and just been so flat. Like it was, after the first half we probably should have been up by more at half. Oh, we weren't up, but probably should have been up by a couple of goals at halftime had we taken our chances. But we just kept them in it and narrow ahead and came out in the third quarter and the fourth quarter and just, it was really disappointing, mate. It's things that the most disappointing part and I feel like is, it's things we can control. Like sometimes the other team's too good, but what was happening on the night was clearly in our control, I think. And you can go through the game and look at a number of different situations where, whether it was, not chasing or, putting a tackle on or kicking out goals or converting, good inside 50s or whatever it might be. It was all on us as players. And that's another thing that I can't really stand at the moment is, you see a lot of media talk about fags, which to me is just so wrong because it's on us as players who run out there every weekend and play the game. And, we've got to deliver on that. And we're not doing that at the moment. So hopefully, we've had some solid reviews this week and some truth telling and which is always nice. I feel like that's refreshing in a way. Like you cop it between the eyes, all of us, and then see all the hard stuff that you probably don't want to see week in, week out. But you cop it and then move on and learn from it. So that's what we're looking to do. And it's been a really good week so far, and I look forward to getting out there this week against the Suns.
Yeah, I mean, won't touch on the game. Obviously, we all know the result, and it wasn't, for me watching, it wasn't a Brisbane-like performance. We obviously know what you guys are capable of, and no doubt you'll be looking forward to this week. From a review point of view, did you guys go about it? I know you touched on it a little bit, but did you go about it in any different way than you normally would? I mean, you spoke about watching some, vision that you may not like seeing as players, but is that something you generally do? Or is that, just give the viewers an opportunity to understand what it is like for a team, that didn't play good enough footy, especially in that second half. Do you change your review? Is there different things you see? Like what is it you guys may have done different? If not, did you do anything the same?
Yeah, I mean, you normally always address little things like, patterns in the game and things like that, and you show them on the screen because it's more of a team learning. But when, there's things that happen in the game that that are not up to standard and it's happening across the board, then we sort of, in the past, we've done it as well. Like, we'll just show those edits, that vision of, whoever it might be, I'm in clips. Everyone's in clips. Like, it's not just single-handedly pointing at one person. It's like, well, what are you doing here, Dunks? Like, we need you to be better. And that happens, obviously, when you lose. But we've done that. We haven't just done that this week. We've done that in the past when we've lost 2 in a row or maybe lost a game, Port Adelaide, for example, last year in round 1 when they smacked us over there. Like, we had these types of edits coming up in our meeting. So, you still see them sporadically or however you say it. But I feel like the trying to keep that consistent and making sure that it's not just a thing that you react to when you lose is something that, everyone I think can work on because, from my experiences at the Dogs was the same. Like you have those meetings and sometimes, certain players react in different ways. So you've got to almost pick and choose, who can cop it and who can't. And you got to be really careful with that kind of messaging and who you deliver it to and how you deliver it. So it's been interesting and it's been a good week though. I feel like, a lot of the boys will be raring to go this week, and even training today was up and about, and everyone was trying to improve, and we're just looking for another win to get on the board this week, and we can't look any further than the Gold Coast Suns.
Yeah, and I guess that's the importance of having line coaches and like assistant coaches and mentors as well from that point of view, where you talk about players who may not necessarily receive the feedback or accept the feedback if it's a little bit harsher in a group environment. So having the importance of having a really good relationship with your assistant coach and being able to talk about that's probably another key area to improvement. So well said. I think most clubs would be the same, but I've got no doubt you boys will bounce back this week. And another. I don't know if it's officially rivalry round, but even just looking here, it's essentially all the rivals. I think. Well, yeah, I don't know. Well, other than West Coast and Freo, but you guys are playing obviously Gold Coast in the last time slot. So I cannot wait to see the result of that one.
Yeah, I look forward to Sunday. It's a Sunday night game because I think there's a public holiday on Monday up here. So, hopefully we pack out the Gabba and get a big crowd for the Q Cup.
Oh, you will. Hopefully you can win I think, is it the Marcus Ashcroft vest on? Is it Marcus Ashcroft?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can win that, mate. I read something today where in the Sydney Giants, so it is, I'm looking at the fixture now as we speak, and we'll touch on these later when we do our tipping, but Sydney, the Giants game, they play off for the Brett Kirk medal, I believe. And I read a stat, today where Luke Parker's won 5 of them, I think.
Really?
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
That's pretty good.
I know, isn't it? That's probably, I know Brado will probably let us know if it's true at the end, but I wonder if it's the most best on medals in games where there's medals. Do you know what I mean? So like the Showdown medal, obviously your medal, Anzac medal. There's probably a couple other medals out there. So yeah, that's probably an interesting little stat.
That would be an interesting stat. Let's talk about you, mate. I know you're trying to put it off a little bit, but give us a bit of an insight into what's going on.
Obviously we played on the Saturday night over there, and very hostile crowd for us. You well and truly know what it's like playing in WA against one of the WA sides. And Freo obviously up and about. And we knew that they were going to come off a bit of heat from the week before against the Eagles, where they clearly didn't play well, and they copped it a little bit over in the WA media. So I think what's the most frustrating thing from the game is we got beaten by what we knew, really. We knew how they wanted to play. We know that, they like to flick the ball around and really get it forward by hand. And, we scouted all week that we wanted to stop that. But, I felt like we did in patches of the game. And when we did, we turned the ball over in good spots and actually got really good looks the other way. But we just didn't do it enough. And, ultimately they dominated around the ball, which is frustrating because we kind of wear that a little bit. I wear that individually myself because I'm proudly one of the midfielders in there, and they smashed us around the ball. They beat us in clearance, which is frustrating. I know Tommy Liberatore was a big out for us late. Obviously with illness, he came out and, missed him in there. But yeah, that was probably the most disappointing thing that we lost. Yeah, we got beaten by what we knew that they were good at. And that's probably what stings the most.
Yeah, I must say I was watching on Saturday night, and it was a good game. Like, it was actually the whole time I was glued to the telly because I was like, I didn't know whether or not, who was going to get on top. And it wasn't until like mid last quarter where they started to kick a couple of goals and, assert, I suppose, their presence on the game. But yeah, it was a tough one because you boys, it felt like you had so many opportunities where you created them and you just couldn't quite finish it off, or something would happen that would then turn over and then they just get their game going again.
Oh, spot on, mate. It felt like one of those games where, and you definitely would know this, feel like most players would, where you as a team work extremely hard to get a score or get a goal. And then on the flip side, it feels like they just go bang, 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 kick goal with ease. And no doubt it's clearly not, but that's just how it feels as an individual. And that was probably the most frustrating thing, because I definitely felt like, especially in that third quarter, felt like we had them locked in there quite a bit, and we're getting repeat entries. And I know I had a couple shots on goal, which still pisses me off that I didn't kick any of those, especially those snaps, which bread and butter for me, which still frustrates me. But, just those opportunities that we didn't capitalize on. We definitely felt like we dominated around a 5 to 10 minute period in that third quarter. But the fact that we couldn't score, I mean, that's where it's frustrating. And, always give credit where credit's due. Freo are a very well-drilled team, and they play to their strengths, and they did on the weekend. And, as you just touched on, the game was right in the balance right to the very end. And, with the momentum of the crowd and whatnot, as soon as they got a goal where they were 2 goals up, I felt like they, really asserted their dominance, and they did. That was the most frustrating thing. I mean, you take pleasing things from it, pleasing aspects from it, but, we're not in the league or the competition to lose or not make finals. We want to win as many games as possible. We don't want to have close losses. We want to turn those into wins, and we haven't been able to do that historically the last couple of years, which again is probably the most frustrating thing. So, yeah, we lick our wounds, and obviously, as you said, you guys review your game. We're the exact same review. Look where we can learn. Look where we did well, and look forward to another game this week where we're coming up against a team who is getting heat put on them in the media in Hawthorn, who love playing well against us as well, and match up really well against us. So we'll be looking forward to that as well.
Yeah. You sort of I talked about our review and how it played out. Did you do anything differently this week? He's looking at little things that you said you can improve on, but is there anything that's standing out in your game that's a bit of a pattern at the moment?
No, nothing out of the ordinary. I think in terms of how we review it, I think we're pretty good, and our coaches are great in, regardless of the result, we kind of review and, the same way. You don't want to change things too much. We know what to expect. We know we'll look at areas where we need to improve and areas where we obviously are doing well. But from areas in a game point of view that we may be better at, I just think, I touched on being able to capitalize on small opportunities. I think that's probably the area for us. And that's what I mean by that is, when we turn the ball over in a good spot, whether it's the middle of the ground or half back for us, and we feel like we're in a fast, open play, being able to, not just blaze away and kick the ball to a blatant defender who's going to be sitting back, taking an intercept marked because they've got a 2-on-1 or whatever it may be. But on the flip side, being able to build the ball up, wait for our players to get numbers back and then go from there. I mean, a lot of teams probably experience that because, in this day and age, teams like to get numbers behind the ball and an extra behind the ball. So, we know Freo like to do that with Alex Pearce, and Ryan obviously like to go behind the ball as well. So I think little areas like that where we shoot ourselves in the foot are the areas where we can get better. So prime example this week, Hawthorn, obviously James Sisley's a very good intercept mark player. So, not playing to his strengths and blazing away and kicking the ball straight to him where he can just take intercept marks when we get the ball in good turnovers. So little areas like that I think is going to definitely help us going forward and be able to kick a winning score.
Yeah, for sure. I look forward to, I'll be able to probably see the first little bit of your game this week, but I'll check the results straight after our game for sure.
Will that be, because I know you're going to say no to this, but will you be checking that score afterwards, baby oil on your arm, or no? Because I know that you won the poll of baby oil. I didn't. No one wants to see my pale skin with baby oil. They want to see you, nice Queensland tan, beautiful man with baby oil on his arm. So, are you going to reward the fans that are sent through the lines emoji?
I must admit, I was very surprised how many votes you got. Get yourself.
It's probably Kim's burner accounts just sending them through. Yeah, I'm surprised too.
No, it was we did a count before we came on the potty, and Adzi had like 45. I think there was 108 comments. So, but then there's a lot of people. So we got to go back and count because I think Adam might be the winner. But anyway, I don't think you're going to do it. Maybe I might do it this week. We'll have a look. We'll see.
Well, we'll wait for our trusty man, Brad, at the end to count and send us the results. But I've got not a doubt in the world that you're the one who's got the most votes. And, I can't wait to see you put the baby oil on, because if you don't, you know what happens, mate. You get absolutely rinsed on the potty and you get questions and you get direct messages sent to you about not putting baby oil on. So I can't wait.
Yeah, well, we'll see what Brado says at the end. If it's you got to do it.
Well, it won't be me, but if it is me, then I might just stand next to Bont and just give him a hug, because I know Bonty likes putting baby oil on. So who knows? Could be the lucky charm for us both if we do it. Who knows? We need to find a bit of lucky charms around.
I was going to say.
Anything catch your eye this round? I mean, there were some ripping games. Anzac Day, you probably didn't. I'm not sure if you got to watch the actual game, but the actual Anzac Day game. But that was an unbelievable game.
Yeah, I got to watch most, like the first half, I think it was, and then in the rooms when we were at the ground, there was people coming in telling us what was going on. Apparently, it was an unbelievable game. I saw some highlights post, and would have been a massive one to watch, because, mate, the Bombers are looking good, and obviously the Pies are reigning premiers and have found their form again. But the Bombers, very impressive to take it up to them and get the draw in the end.
I'm very impressed by the Bombers. I mean, we played them a couple of weeks ago and they absolutely smacked us, and the players they have that are leading them. And I think Zach Merritt's probably the best captain in the competition at the moment. His footy is incredible at the moment. I think he was very rewarding of the Anzac medal. I was a little bit surprised there was. Did you see the voting?
No, I didn't. No.
There was only one Collingwood player, and you didn't see the game, obviously, but I think Nick Dacos might have been the only Collingwood player, and he played a very good game. But I definitely felt like it would have been a little bit more even in the voting. But I think there was maybe 4 or 5 Essendon players and 1 Collingwood player. And like Brody Myercheck was unreal. I think obviously Dacos was very good. Their mids were good as well, the Pies. But I'm getting a little bit lost here. Touching on the Bombers, I'm fully impressed by their midfield group and their intents and their hunts and their wants. I mean, I think last year we kind of seen that quite a bit with them, where they would play like that, and then there might be a game or like a couple of weeks where you just didn't see that. And definitely feel like they're doing it week in, week out now, and they're one of the great teams to watch. They play a great brand of footy, and as I said, led by Zach Merritt, who in my opinion is probably the best captain in the competition at the moment.
Yeah, well, they talked about that Essendon edge that they're bringing to their games, and I think one thing that surprised a lot of people is the Draper Goldstein combo. Like people probably thought that they weren't able to play together, but showing now that it's that the 2 ruck thing might be back.
Yeah, well, I agree. I mean, Goldstein is a classy tap ruckman and has been for years now. It's probably like his 16th or 17th year, and Draper's more than capable forward. So I agree with that. I mean, and then you're throwing Peter Wright, who can, he's 200 and something centimetres, can pinch hit in the ruck and as well and play forward. But yeah, their team is looking very good. The one that impresses me the most, and I love it because I love 2-way defensive midfielders, obviously like yourself, probably the standard in the AFL. But Jai Caldwell, he's one that is, for me, one of the best 2-way defensive midfielders in the comp. He tackles hard for what it's worth. I mean, I've been on the end of one of those, 2 of those actually, very, very hard. But you see, he runs both ways really hard. He's a classy user of the footy. He finishes around goal, which is what you want from midfielders. So yeah, I'm really impressed by the Bombers, and we're saying all this when they drew with clearly Collingwood, who I believe have definitely found their mojo again. And as I said, you didn't watch the game, but the Bombers started on fire, mate. They kicked the first 3 or 4, I think it was, and then as the Maggies do, they just fight back and claw back and get their way back, and then then you see possibly the greatest mark you've ever seen in the history of the game in Jamie Elliott. Did you see that?
I saw the highlight. Yeah, that on the highlights. Yeah, unbelievable.
Oh, I'm putting you on the spot here. Can you think of your best mark of all time? Not yours, sorry, like the best mark you've ever seen of all time.
It wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be anything like that. The number one thing that stands out for me, I was a Sydney supporter, and it was a Leo Barry mark in the granny.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you're
like
more
big pack mark.
Yeah. No, that is, in terms of the moment and whatnot, I understand. That's a your kind of mark. That's definitely one of the greatest marks of all time. But mate, Jamie Elliott's, that was, watching that live, that was the only other time I've really reacted like that, when I was actually at the feet of this next mark I'm going to talk about, I was right there. You see in the vision was Jeremy Howe's mark against Melbourne. I think it was Tom McDonald he might have jumped on, or maybe Petrarca, one of them. And I was right there. And I remember Nathan Jones was right next to me, and we both looked at each other like, whoa. And then he actually didn't win Mark of the Year. Do you remember that? Joey Danaher won Mark of the Year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was Howie's mark and Joey won it. I think he took a mark at Marvel. But yeah, Howie's mark, Jamie Elliott's mark. There's another mark that I loved as a Carlton fan growing up, and I've got no doubt in this world that you have never seen this mark. So you need to go back and have a look.
Andrew Walker?
Nope. This is I think this was in 1999. This mark. I was a mad Carlton fan. Matthew Lappin. He was running. You need to see it, mate. After this, Matty Lappin was kind of running like ball would kick from the junction, having a shot on goal. I think it was. Came to the furthest point. He's like running back, essentially arcing around, and genuinely jumped on some bloke's head, took the mark, fell on the ground, and got up and started smiling, mate. It's one of the best marks you'll ever see. That's probably one of my most, mate. You need to see it. Brado's going to do an unbelievable job cutting this up because it was one of the best marks.
Yeah, right. I'll have to go on and have a look. I remember now we're talking about marks, our good mate Hayden Crozier. He's taken a few.
Yes, he has actually. What's Crosby's best mark? He'll love this that we're talking about him. What's his best mark? Top of your head?
The Collingwood one. He took one against Collingwood, but I think he sort of fumbled it because he fumbled it and landed with it, so it wasn't as good as what it looked like it's not the full extension kind of thing. But he's taken a few good marks, Crosby. He
has. He's got a great hollow. I would probably say that one stands out because we were both playing that game. You kicked the goal on me that game. That was that game. I do remember that. It was out on the wing. I think his mark that gets recognised everywhere is the one he took in the you would have seen that, the one he took in the under-18 championships that he's told everyone about. That instantly that got him from being a top 40 draft pick to a top 20 draft pick, he says, taking that mark.
It's the first thing he showed me when I first met him. This is my mark.
Did you see the great Crosby play on Saturday? Our great mate Crosby played for the Surfers Paradise on Saturday. You didn't go see him?
No, I was at Southport watching the VFL and he was playing down the road. So I was like, you know what I thought? I thought he's coming back from an ankle Rico, and I know Crosby quite well. He's, at the best of times, he's an absolute ripper of a bloke, and we love him for that. But I just thought, you know what, he'll be a little bit, not sure about his ankle this week. So I reckon he's just going to take it easy. So sure enough, I saw him on Sunday, and he told me he was sore as heck and couldn't move. And he said he ran 50 meters and he blew up. Like he just couldn't run anymore.
I wonder if Premier Data goes there and does the stats. You know how Premier Data does the stats on the app? Have you seen that?
No.
Mate, on socials, I've got no doubt you've seen it. If you go to Premier Data on socials, they do local footy stats.
Do they? Every game?
Yeah. I think you've got to be – I think the league has to be signed up. So, the Prime Train on socials.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks ago against, I don't know who it was, he's had 81 disposals.
I did see something with that. Yeah.
So anyway, that's on Premier Data. So on the weekend, they were released Premier Data local level. So I'll just go to a random game here, mate. Ready? Brett Bewley has had 216 ranking points. That's a lot, right? That is a lot of ranking points. But
I've heard of that. Brett Bewley.
You would have. So it has his game here. He's had 51 disposals, 23 contested possessions, and 13 clearances. Wow. Sam Murray, who I played at Collingwood with, has had 51 disposals, 43 kicks, 21 contested, 254 ranking points. Oh, mate. So that's what you've got to look forward to when you eventually play local footy for. Who are you going to play local footy for?
Don't know. I don't know if I will. I reckon it'll just be you just have this massive target on your back and everyone will be lining you up.
No, you've got to promise me, mate, that once we're both retired, we can go play local footy somewhere together. We can play a few games together.
Yeah, we'll drive around and play together. I'm happy to do that. I won't be able to move.
I won't be able to move, mate. I unofficially, a couple of weeks ago, I did it was a really good, what I do? It was like a fundraiser for Mick, my great mate Mick. It was a fundraiser for his bowls club. Anyway, there was a couple of Noble Park Footy Club people there, which is, my club that I'm proud of. And I kind of unofficially signed a plate. So that's a dinner plate. It says, I will be at Noble Park in 2027, signature here. So I signed my signature there down the bottom, and I signed, which is
2027, mate. That's 3 years away.
You reckon I'll still be getting a kick in the AFL?
Yeah, you'll still be around there, mate.
We'll see. We will see. We're getting a little bit sidetracked here, which is great. You know what? It's great. We don't have to be, sad talking about footy and our result. We can show people how happy we can be. We were touching on the round of footy. Was there anything that came from it that you like to bring up, as you always like to bring up? Nothing controversial happened?
Nah, nothing controversial. I don't think anyway. Probably the only talking point out of it was the tackle Higgins on Aliir, which I think's in tribunal at the moment. So can't really say anything about it. But I mean, we've been on the potty talking about it before. It's a case of, you got to protect the head, and as harsh as that is, we're trying to obviously stamp, concussion and all that out of the game, or make it less occurring. So these occasions are just, you look at it and you think, geez, it's not a lot, but it's hard to judge when you take into consideration the head and the concussion sort of stuff.
Yeah, it is hard to judge. I still haven't seen the tackle. Every time I come across it, no, I actually haven't seen it. I obviously know Aliir unfortunately went out. I mean, that game itself was actually a really good game from Port's point of view. They had a few injuries. Connor Rosie was another scary one that went out, but I think he's actually playing this week, which is great for them. He's a superstar. But yeah, I think as you're right, mate, the priority is protecting the head. I mean, similar thing happened in our game actually with Westy.
Oh yeah,
during the actual live broadcast, did you like notice that? Do you know what I mean? Like, did you see it? Nah, okay,
not at all.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well. Yeah, obviously, as you said, mate, the priority is protection of the head. And who did he hit? Was it Johnson? Yeah, Johnson, right? I think it was.
Yeah,
it wasn't Ryan, was it? Nah, I forgot.
No.
I think it was Johnson, but yeah, as you said, the priority is the head. So we'll see what happens there. Something I did want to mention from the round. This isn't necessarily from the round. This is more as a whole, and it's happened in the last couple of days. Rory Sloane has retired. Yes, he's one of those players. When I was coming through the early ranks as an 18-year-old at the Giants, one of those young players for Adelaide. He was an up-and-coming young player, one of the stars of the competition, and someone that I definitely looked up to. And it feels like he's been around forever. I mean, maybe it's just a reflection on how old I'm getting, but it genuinely feels like he's been around forever. And the career that he's had, I think, has been tremendous, considering he got the absolute best out of himself. And I know he's a two-time Malcolm Blight winner and All-Australian, been an All-Australian vice-captain, someone who's been a champion for the Adelaide Footy Club, but someone that I, wholeheartedly admired from afar and had the utmost respect for when I played against him. And you knew what you're going to get from him. He was going to, wasn't going to shirk the contest and was going to have a crack week in, week out. So to see another great player retire is sad, but no doubt, as he said in his retirement, his priority is his health and his family. So, I just wanted to give a massive shout out and a bit of love to Sloaney, who's a champion of not only the Crows, but AFL footy.
Yep, second that, mate. He was, again, like you said, one of the players that I looked up to as a kid growing up. And I just love, there's players out there that, you'd love to play with and see what they're like, because he'd be one that you'd run out there and you'd be like, you'd know exactly what you're going to get from him week in, week out. And so to see him hang up the boots is sad, but we wish him all the best in the next phase of life.
That we do. You got nothing else to talk about from the game on the weekend?
No, not from footy. I've got one little curly one for you.
Yeah, good.
And it was something that I experienced in Canberra, but it's not to do with footy. But I've got a pet hate, and I figured it out on the weekend because I'm looking on my phone, right? I'm trying to find a cafe. I'm trying to find a coffee in Canberra, and I'm like searching up, open now. No worries. Put it on there. Righto, this one's open now. I go for a walk to this place, and its doors are completely shut. Like, it says that it's meant to be open, but it's not. Is that something that would annoy you? Because it annoys me big time.
Well, yeah, it is because it's like public holiday or Good Friday or something. It doesn't show on. If you were to Google a cafe or like a Coles or something, it doesn't actually tell you on the website or whatever it may be that it's closed. So yeah, mate, it does annoy me. And I know, knowing you, oh mate, you would have been that angry. It would have been so funny. Were you by yourself?
Yeah, I was by myself, and I was just looking for a coffee, and I just Googled a place, and it was like around the corner. So I went for a walk, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'll be 5 minutes, just grab a coffee, walk back. Sure enough, just pitch black inside. All the chairs are flipped upside down, and I'm like, oh no, this is just annoying.
Is that your number one? It's actually funny. I was thinking about that today. I genuinely was thinking, what's your biggest pet hate? What would be your biggest pet hate, just in general?
You know, when you're driving somewhere and you've got to go to two spots, but you've got to drive past the first spot to then go back to it. I can never do that.
Oh, yes.
So
yes.
So like, remember from Footscray, if we were going to South Melbourne, I would hate driving to your house in Hyatt and then back to South Melbourne. I'd just stay at the club and then just drive straight to South Melbourne.
Yes, I do remember that. That is your pet hate. And you never did it. You really, really did it.
Nah. What's yours?
I think if someone tells me to calm down or relax or whatever it may be when I'm relaxed or when I'm calm. So say someone like concedes that I'm stressed and be like, oh, relax, mate. I'll look at him and be like with the death stare and be like, don't tell me to relax. Like, I'm relaxed. I reckon that's it. That's now that I think about it, when someone tells me to calm down. So if any opposition players are listening out there and they see me out on the field and they tell me to relax, you watch out because I reckon that's it. I genuinely think that's it when someone tells me to relax.
Yeah, I know that because I reckon I've done it to you before and you've just given me the eyes. Like,
oh, well, it would have been when I was clearly – about to swear there, when I was clearly frustrated and clearly I'm frustrated. You don't need to tell me to relax. I am relaxed.
Mate, you're getting frustrated now talking about it.
No, I'm not. There's a few little pet hates.
Relax, mate. It's all right. Relax.
I'm relaxed, brother. Let's do our tips for the week. So
let's go through it.
I'm going to unofficially call it rivalry round because I don't know if it is actually rivalry round, but we'll start off with the Thursday game, Adelaide and Port Adelaide, the showdown.
Big game. If Connor Rosie doesn't play,
he is playing. It says he's available.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, they lost Sammy Powell-Pepper too. Actually, send our best wishes to him. ACL, good fit, really good guy too. So, I think I'm going to tip Adelaide.
I'll go Port. Although I do think it'll be a ripping game. I reckon. I think last year when. Was it last year's game when Dawson kicked the game winner? Was that it?
Yep. I think they beat him twice last year, actually.
Oh, I'm sure he will say it. So I'll go Port. Can you give us a showdown medal?
Showdown medal, Tex Walker.
Oh, that would be – he gets up for these games.
Yeah, he does.
I'm going to say – who am I going to say? Obviously, Port win. I don't want to go one of their mids because their mids just dominate. I mean, for what it's worth, it was great to see William Drew win the best on ground last week too, by the way, in that game because he's very underrated, that player. He's a gun. I'm going to say Charlie Dixon. I'll go – you're going one big key forward. I'll go the other big key forward. Charlie Dixon.
Is Charlie Dixon back?
Yeah, he played last week, mate.
Did he play last week?
He did. He was good last week. He's very good.
Oh.
So I'm going to say Charlie Dixon. Carlton Collingwood, another unbelievable rivalry.
The Pies.
And I'm going to agree with you there. I'm going to say Collingwood. I don't think there's a best on ground medal in that. So otherwise we'll be doing best ons for every game. Sydney and Giants, great game. Woo.
Where is this? At the SCG.
SCG,
I'm going to tip.
Great game.
I'm tipping I'm tipping the Giants.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
This is a great game. This is a ripping game. I'm going to say Sydney. And my showdown medal, my Brett Kirk medal, is going to Brodie Grundy.
Ooh, I like it. Yeah, Giants, and I'll go Toby Green.
Okay. For what it's worth, by the way, this is for Brado as well. If we get the tip right and the best on ground medal right, surely that's worth like an extra 5 points or something.
Oh, well, if you want it to be, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Can we do that, please?
Yeah, no worries.
All right, we've done it. Beautiful. So you've gone easy cop out of Toby Green, which is the best player in the team, and I've gone to left field one with Brodie Grundy.
Okay.
No, I'm joking, mate. I'm joking. Next game, St Kilda North at Marvel.
St Kilda.
I'm going to go St Kilda as well. Melbourne v Geelong MCG.
I think Melbourne might give Geelong their first loss of the year.
I'm going to say Geelong. Mate, there's some ripping games here. West Coast, Essendon and Optus, which is going to be a ripping game. I hope Harley Reid's back because he's an excitement machine. I'm going to tip the Eagles. I'm going to go first. Who are you tipping?
I'll tip the Bombers.
Richmond, Freo, MCG, Sunday.
Geez, another tough one. I think Freo will win that.
See, I think Freo too because I think Richmond's injury list is so. Yeah. It's one of the biggest injury lists at the moment. I mean, they've had another couple injuries on the weekend, so I think Freo might be a little bit too strong. And then there's our games. So the Bulldogs and the Hawkers. I may as well touch on our game.
Yep. You go first. You're up first.
Yep. So I'm tipping the Bulldogs, of course. I'm really looking forward to the game. Obviously, both teams have coming off two disappointing losses. I know Hawthorn, you're not here in Melbourne at the moment, mate, but there's quite a bit of talk about them at the moment. So you know what happens when there's external heat on you. The teams come out and they come out firing. And Hawthorn always play really well against us, and really respect them as a team. They've got we've got a great midfield and great players across all lines, and they've really taken it up to us the last couple of years. They got us last year in the second last game of the year when obviously our finals were on the line and they were far too good for us in Tassie. And as I said, they play really, really well against us. They play a good brand of footy when they're up and about. Their brand of footy, I believe, can take it up to most teams, and their best is very good. And Marvel being a fast deck, I think, really suits them as well. So it's going to be a real big challenge for us, and one that I definitely think we're going to be up for it. I know, from the contest side of things, it's we let ourselves down a little bit, and we let their midfield. When I say their, Freo's midfield, dominate us. To be quite frank, I know that we're going to want to lift in that regard. So, fully expect to combat them really hard, and hopefully we can, as I touched on earlier with our review, that. Those points that I brought up, we can, be better in those points and, win the game.
Yep, I agree with you. I think you're going to bounce back this week, so I'm going to be tipping you boys at home on a fast deck. You said that suits Hawthorn. I think it suits you boys, and you'll win convincingly over them. So look forward to hearing all about it post-game. For our game, obviously got the Gold Coast Suns up here, and yeah, it's going to be a big one because both of us, Gold Coast are going well this year. I feel like their best footies, been really good against any opposition they've played against. And I know that they haven't won away yet, so they'll be looking forward to coming to the Gabba and, trying to knock us off. I think that's what every team does now, is set themselves to come to the Gabba and knock us off. And unfortunately for us this year, it's hasn't really been our fortress, as many people would call it. So we've got to get it going, and starts in the contest because they've got such they've got a midfield now that's probably one of the best in the comp. So
I agree.
Going to have to really take it up to them in there and take a leaf out of you guys, or your book out when you played him at Ballarat early on in the year, because I thought that the way you guys played him was incredible, and didn't allow him to get that impact or have the impact from the source that they like to have. So we'll be looking to do the same and match up in there. But for us, mate, it's just about getting back to what we know and our DNA and cracking in and playing, the way we want to. So look forward to getting out there on Sunday night in front of hopefully a packed house and having a crack at the Gold Coast Suns.
Yep, I agree, mate. I can't wait to see how you guys go and break that little hoodoo 0-3 at the Gabba, which probably haven't seen before in a very, very long time. So I'll be looking forward to that. And I know you're not going to say it, but I'll say the Marcus Ashcroft medal, Jay Dunkley, with the A celebration and some Babel Earl on.
Oh, yeah, baby oil too. Who's my best on going to be? I got no idea. I hope it's Charlie Cameron.
Oh, that'd be nice. And his song that would be ringing around, which is, what's his song? Country Road? Country Road. That's it. It just reminds me of the qualifying final last year being there, listening to that song on replay. That's the games. I can't wait to hear, because I actually don't know who's winning the tipping after the weekend's results. So no doubt Brado's going to tell us. Hopefully I'm in front.
I'm sure he will be.
Yeah, hopefully. My favourite segment, or my second favourite segment behind the Brookes Bloom of the week, a bit of love. We still haven't named it anything yet. We'll just call it love for a rival player.
Bit of love's good.
Yep, bit of love. There you go. Featuring ads and dunks. My player is a Geelong player.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, do you have a Geelong player too?
Yeah.
Tell me what position he plays.
Down back.
Okay, mine's a midfielder.
Okay, that's all right.
Yep, my player is Tanner Bruin. I know last week I mentioned, how well drilled Geelong are, and barring probably Jeremy Cameron, Tom Stewart, you could probably throw Mitch Duncan in there. They don't really have Tom Hawkins as well. Sorry, they don't really have just a genuine superstar where they just rely on that player to get them over the line. Where a lot of teams unfortunately rely on that. And I think there's a player in their midst, which is Tanner Bruin, who is severely underrated. I know internally he wouldn't be, but I think he's severely underrated. I think his midfield stuff or his midfield craft is exceptional. I mean, playing against him was exceptional. He's got some great speed and great power away from the contest. And, I really believe his strengths are really shining, and we're seeing the best of him. So he's someone that I enjoy watching play. He's a great young player who I think is going to have an enormous future and is already building a great resume. So he's the guy that I'm giving a bit of love to this week.
I like it. And I'm going to double up on the Geelong players and going to give us Zach Guthrie. I think he's a gun. I feel like amongst that back line, everyone talks about Tom Stewart all the time, and he just gets nothing. Like, no one ever talks about him, but he goes out there and just plays like that. He just gets his job done every week, has an impact both offensively and defensively, and then he can kick a ball. I feel like his kicking and stuff's been elite from what I've seen the last few weeks too. So he's one that, for me, I feel needs a bit more love from the external world, because he's going really well at the moment, and a big reason as to why they haven't lost yet. So he's mine.
I love it. There's so many players from Geelong you can name. I mean, Mark Blitzabs, who is just, I think, the star of the competition because he can literally play every single position. Every position. And I mean, Ruck, he can tag, positions that are that unique. He can genuinely play every position. So he's another absolute superstar. But I like it, mate.
All right, now it's time for our favourite segment of the week, and I've got the hat on. It's the Brookes Bloom of the week. You can start. You can start today. It's your turn to go first, because I want to hear what you've got, because I might have something similar.
Nah, mine's completely left field. Genuinely left field. You wouldn't.
I like that.
No, it's involving sport, but it's more of a press conference. So it's a press conference that was one of the funniest press conferences I've ever seen. For our listeners out there that know that we love our NFL fantasy, we've just had our rookie draft. So we drafted our rookies, right, for our Dynasty League. And I drafted a player from the Buffalo Bills. His name's Keon Coleman. And boy, oh boy, is he going to be special. But his interview that he did I mean, I'm not going to recite any of it because I just can't, but it's one of the funniest interviews I've ever seen. Have you seen it, Josh?
No, I haven't seen it. No.
Mate, it is so funny. To say he keeps it real is an understatement. He just keeps it real. Someone's questioning him about his jacket because you know how, when you get drafted, these players get drafted, they wear, like Louis Vuitton and Gucci and all this stuff. He's wearing this jacket similar to this, but it's bright yellow. And they've asked him about where's that, like, is that from, I don't know where they said, but it's like a Louis Vuitton. He goes, no, man, it's from Macy's. Like Macy's, Macy's is like their Kmart over there. He goes, no, man, this is from Macy's. This is on the discount rack and everything. Anyway, mate, it was just so funny. You need to watch it. So he's my bloom of the week.
Oh, I like it. That is left field from you. Mate, my bloom of the week was going to be the Queensland Firebirds if they had a won because, and I feel like it still could be because the netball that they're playing right now is really, really good. And despite the results, I feel like what we talked about earlier on in the season, or a couple of weeks ago, was that, we think that they're going to be capable of taking it up to anyone. And the New South Wales Swifts are probably one of the best teams in the comp. So to be 8 ahead, I think it was at three-quarter time, was very, very impressive. And they probably could have been more. So, they were going to be my bloom of the week. So I was thinking of something else. And, you think about everything. Jamal Murray today, again, hitting the game winner and whatnot. But I came back to what I watched on the weekend, the other game that I watched, and it was our VFL team.
Oh, nice.
Boring maybe, but I was thinking about it because three-quarter time, they were down and they were heading into a breeze in the last quarter. And just the way that they, especially in the situation that we're in at the moment, sometimes when your AFL team's not going so well, your VFL team, the boys, they start to lose motivation or whatever it might be because, one, they may not be getting a game or, the club, it's just a bit of a struggle at the moment to find wins. They could have easily just rolled over, but they stood up. Everyone played their role. It was a great team performance. Kaiser was out there too. And I just love seeing it. Like, made me sort of proud to be a part of the footy club on the weekend just because of the way that they dug in and got the win. So they're my bloom of the week.
That's good. I love that. And you genuinely know the closeness of a group or even the camaraderie within the group by, the amount of players that get around. Like, when I say players, I mean the AFL boys that get there and watch and celebrate their boys. And that's the same as our VFL boys. Our Footscray boys undefeated at the moment. I think we're 5-0. I think it's been 5 games. Playing a great brand of footy. And what it does do is it puts pressure for spots. And I've got no doubt there's boys in your team in that VFL side that are, going to put pressure on for spots. So that's a great bloom of the week. And I know Southport is, a very good side, especially up there. Well, when I say up there, they're on their turf. So that's good, mate. Well done. They'll love that.
Thank you.
Who's the VFL coach for Brisbane?
Benny Hudson.
Yeah, you might have to tell Benny Hudson tomorrow that you pumped him up on the potty.
Yeah, I will. I'll tell him. He'll love it.
That's good. It's great, mate. Well, it's been another ripping episode. Before we get Brado on, is there anything else you want to say? Or is there anything else you can leave us with, or just that's it?
Let me just check my notes. I don't think there was anything else. Oh, actually, no, I've got one question. You talked about NFL fantasy before Brado comes on. What's this thing in our league, taxi squad? What's that?
So what it is you can put 2 rookies on there, right? So you can put rookie players, but as soon as you want to move those rookie players to your roster, you have to get rid of that roster spot, if that makes sense. So the reason why you might stash a rookie there is because let's just say the season starts and they start to pop off and they go well, then you've got them stashed on the taxi squad and you've got someone on your bench who might not be doing well, so you can just move them onto your bench. So there you go. That's what it is. Because looking at Lexi's team, that's why. Anyway, I've just solved it for you.
Well, I would have liked a explanation before finding out, that popped up prior. But anyway, I'll leave that with you. Rightio. Let's get our mate Brado on. See what he's got for us.
Get him, mate.
There's a few things this week. One, Riley West, that was on Docker. Brandon Walker, you were asking who he hit. And there was a moment, I think you said William Drew. You were happy that William Drew I think it's Willem.
It's Willem. It is Willem.
Willem Drew.
Oh, sorry, Willem. Really? Are you
Willem. Willem Drew.
Willem Drew.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
I hope you haven't been calling him William to his face.
No, I hope not.
And I think you were right, though. Luke Parker, I reckon 5-time Brett Kirk medalist is the record, because there is a lot of medals, but like it depends on what medals you go for. If you're going for the big dogs, you're looking at the Showdown medalist, Robbie Gray, 4-time Showdown medalist, Pendles, 3-time Anzac medalist, Paul Hazelby, 4-time Glendenning Allen medalist, and Dane Beams and Took Miller equal on 3 Marcus Ashcroft medals. And then we go over to the oiled up votes. Who won?
Yes, here we go.
Ads came in. You did a count beforehand, but on my recount, anyone that voted with 2 at the same time, I discarded that vote. And that was null and void.
Okay.
Ads
So
came
what is
in
it?
on 38 votes.
Yep. Oh, Josh has won.
Dunks came in on 45 votes.
Yeah.
Oh. Adam was genuinely nervous and he was so nervous.
My gosh. Don't scare me like that again, Brado.
It was close. It was very close. There was a couple of double ups and stuff. There was a lot of creepy comments when like people voted for Dunks. There was a lot of extra, like, oh, no shirt. Yeah, well, we want to see those muscles, like plenty of that stuff. So, yeah, I think that was your burner account, Ads. But that's all I got for you.
Thanks, Brado.
Thanks,
You're the
mate.
man. Oh, well, that's good then, Joshy.
Great. Yep, love it. Well, we'll end there, mate. Thanks to everyone for tuning in again, and thanks to Brooke and the team for supporting us throughout this season. We look forward to hopefully getting a couple of wins on the board this week, mates, and yeah, all the best.
All the best, mate. Get that taxi squad sorted and go well on Sunday, mate.
Thank you. You too.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Brookes Blooms, your all-in-one landscaping solution.
Brookes Blooms' 3-step landscaping experience offers a seamless journey from design to construction and ongoing care, ensuring your outdoor space thrives year-round.
Visit brooksblooms.com today to embark on your landscaping journey, where every step is a step towards a vibrant and beautiful outdoor entertaining space.